Y'all, I just had the most exhausting, bizarre day of draft league shenanigans. So, I'm gonna tell the story about my day, and it's all relevant to this game, week 4 against D.Rey, who we're playing. And before I forget, I'll just say go check out D.Rey's channel. He's honestly, genuinely an amazing content creator and someone who was one of the few people who I watched before actually joining the Wi-Fi scene myself. If not just because he had good battles, but more so that he has a very resounding sense of optimism and a very sort of, amazing personality that makes him so exciting to watch as a content creator. So check him out if you haven't. He's honestly such a ball of light in this community. Can't say enough nice things about him. Very polar opposite from my own sort of anxiety-ridden, nihilistic vibes that I probably give off. But anyway, today, today's actually they did for my university. They did a mental health day. I don't know. Maybe it was something a little bit differently worded, but the idea was that classes were canceled. You know, you're still expected to keep up with your assignments and things, but you don't have to like physically attend classes over Zoom. You know, detox a little bit. Do whatever you want to do. And I actually had a lot of things going on today. I went thrifting, picked up this cool jacket. You know, I went on a pretty nice walk. I went shopping, bought a bunch of like candy and sugary cereal. I had a very sort of like very eventful day today when it came to sort of letting myself go in a healthy way, of course. But the chaos that ensued throughout the entirety of today was bizarre. I wake up at about 9 in the morning, usually about the right time I wake up, did sort of the usual stuff, fed my turtle, got changed, took a shower, all of these things, right? And by about 11, after I cook breakfast, everything like that, I just go to my laptop. I'm like, okay. And, I wasn't really in the headspace to do a lot of schoolwork in the moment. Still planning on doing stuff today, but I just wanted to get a little bit of, like, for fun screen time, chat with some friends. So I hit up my front office and I just threw in the matchup for this game. And I was sort of just like, okay, here's the matchup. The reason I am playing the game and threw the matchup in the thing was because D.Rey and I had scheduled for Thursday. Today is Tuesday. The conversation was something along the lines of what time can you play? And D.Rey was like, when works for you during the weekday. We both had sort of conflicting schedules because he's on one side of the country, I'm on the other side. So time zones. I can never play on weekends. And Friday was pretty rough for me. So I suggested, do you want to play Thursday at noon? D.Rey was like, yep, works for me. And I'm like, perfect, see you then. I just throw in the D.Rey match. I'm like, okay, I played this in 2 days. Anyone have any ideas, right? And, I just talk a little bit with my front office. Not many people were really up. I think it was just like 2 people. Maybe like Sean and Vinny. Maybe I could be wrong on that. But, I had been sort of toying around with the matchup for a little while, but I had not put much serious thought into it, and I was just planning on doing a little bit more this morning. Eventually, noon rolls around. D.Rey messaged me, goes, all right, you ready? And I'm like, no, it's Tuesday. It's not Thursday. And D.Rey's like, what? And I'm like, we scheduled for Thursday. And D.Rey's like, oh, I read that as like Tuesday. I can't go on Thursday. And I'm like, oh, fuck. So we have to like now work around this whole thing with the fact that I can't play Friday or the weekend. D.Rey can't play Thursday all of a sudden. And I brought up tomorrow as an option, but then I have the Shea game tomorrow, and I'm going to be a lot busier, and we had trouble finding time. We go, oh my God, we can't find a time anymore. And eventually, I'm sort of just like, how late are you going to be up tonight? And thankfully, since I'm on the East Coast, he's on the West Coast, he said, okay, I'll be ready at 9:30 my time. Now, that's 12:30 my time. I've never played a draft league game that late ever. But here we are. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to sit down with my front office. We're going to try and make a team together. You know, a little bit less prep time and, you know, a little bit less time to think than I am comfortable with and used to, but maybe I can rally the front office together and we can come up with something. And, you know, so we agree we'll play tonight this time. But my heart like jumped when D.Rey messaged me. It was like, okay, you ready? I'm like, no, I'm not ready. We scheduled for 2 days from now. But we rescheduled and decided it was best to play tonight, which gave me a window of about, from that moment on, gave me about a window of 12 hours, right? So we discussed that at noon and we were playing at 12:30. It's about 10 o'clock when I'm recording this team builder now. And that doesn't take into account the fact that I was going to do schoolwork today, which I still did, by the way. And I plan to go thrift shopping with my friend today, which I still did, by the way. And I went for a walk with my friend today for about an hour and picked up a bunch of shit from Walgreens, which was kind of crazy. After I'm like, oh shit, okay, I'm playing in 12 hours all of a sudden. I rally the front office together and I can go without saying, like, this prep session with my front office confirms to me that, like, I'm so happy I picked the people I did to be working with for the front office. This matchup that you're about to see isn't, like, against me. Like, I would never look at this matchup and go, okay, this is a terrible matchup. But it's just a bizarre matchup because there's so much niche shit that you have to prep for, which I'll get to a little bit later. But the extreme amount of prep that D.Rey's team forced created a few fissures in my front office. Not like everyone's friends with each other, but like everyone had a very different idea of how this team should be built, which of course creates a very chaotic environment. But we eventually started putting our heads together and got it together. But, you know, I got in a call with Simon, I got in a call with Chris, and I got in a call with Vepsis, and we grinded it out for like 2 hours and tried to make this work. And we tried so many different options. I actually originally had like 4 Mons, and then Matt came along, Dr. Slack, and was like, no, those are terrible. And I'm like, oh my god, oh no. And like he pointed out a whole bunch of shitty reason why they were terrible. And I was like, oh my god, you're right. So I had to fucking start from scratch, or at least backtrack a little bit. And then Matt was like, oh, I'll make a team for you that you can work off of. And Matt made it. And it was just something that I did not like or did not jive with. Like, it was a good build, but it was not something that I personally jived with. So I was like, oh my god, I can't do that either. And I just saw the clock ticking and ticking. I eventually got into a call with Simon, Chris, and Vepsis. And we just grinded out a team together, which was kind of a conglomeration of sets that the entire front office had sort of talked about the entire day. So even though people were sort of, there wasn't like bickering, although me and Matt were kind of like friendly bickering with each other in terms of like, no, this is how this should be done. No, this is like, we really were not seeing eye to eye, but you know, we're still friends. We love each other, everything like that. But it was so funny about how like we just like could not see each other's perspective on why we should build a certain way. But ironically, by the end of it, the team that Simon, Chris, and Vepsis and I put together in like late afternoon was a very, very big conglomeration of ideas and sets that we had sort of had this entire time. So I'm going to try and give credit where credit's due to each set. In my mind, if I win this game, this is a win for the front office. A lot of this that is being brought is, well, I built it, well, you know, a lot of it was sort of my idea. Like, I'm the one who put pen to paper and, you know, started building shit on Showdown. I'm, you know, using all of these ideas. A lot of these are ideas from other people, and I think this team in particular was a team that was really a massive group effort to come together in such a short period of time and make this work. So if it doesn't work, I won't be mad, because I've never had to play this late, and I've never had this little time to prep for a game that I consider to be an important game. I'm taking these Wi-Fi games seriously because I want to provide the best content to you all. So, you know, very few mocks. I did 3 mocks just like half an hour ago, just to try a few, and I had to gen the team in as well. I do all of this stuff. So to do all of this on short notice, I won't be mad if I lose, but if it does win, it's 100% the front office's credit for sticking with me and helping me like how they did today. I'm extremely appreciative for their help. So thank you to them. So then, you know, back to my superstitious sort of stuff. So I went on a walk today. And I was like, let's stop at Walgreens and get some candy, because I really want some candy. I've actually been such a massive sweet tooth lately, and it's actually like my stomach is like hates me for it, because it's like I'll eat like a shit ton of candy and my stomach will be like, no, fuck you. Why'd you do that? You know, I'll regret it, right? But I've just had an addiction to like random candies recently. The thing I've had a massive addiction to recently are Mike and Ike's. I'm pretty sure they're only an American candy, but they're very similar to like softer jelly beans. I don't know, it's really hard to like compare them to something, but they're kind of softer jelly beans, but a little bit more chewy. I don't know, it's hard to explain. A little bit less tough, a little bit more chewy, like jellies. I don't know. Like jellies in a candy coating. I don't, it's besides the point. The point is my favorite flavor is green, and I bought a box of Mike and Ike's at the Walgreens, and I opened the box, and this isn't like a tiny little box, like a tiny little thing. This is a box like this big, right? Like of small dimensions, right? I mean, there were, you know, I would say if you want a perspective for how big this box was, I would say, you know, the size of the screen of a Nintendo Switch, right? Like something like that, right? Maybe a little bit broader. My favorite flavor is green. Open the box. Not a single green one. It was like a manufacturing accident. I've never had this before in candy, where like one flavor is just completely missing out of the box. It was crazy. And I start eating, and I'm like, okay, well, I still love Mike and Ike, so I'm not too upset, but it was just so weird. And then I reached the bottom. So of course I'm like, oh my god, this is like the worst omen ever, right? Like superstitious me, but like I'm like, oh my god, this means like everything has been for nothing. You know, I never got my green Mike and Ike, so I'm not gonna get my win from this game. Oh my god, this is terrible. And then, just as I'm about to finish the box of Mike and Ike's, I pull the tiniest of green Mike and Ike's. Literally one green Mike and Ike in a box of like 150 Mike and Ike's, when there's only like 4 flavors. And I'm just like, oh, this is the glimmer of hope, right? This is it, right? So this team is our green Mike and Ike. That's what this long-winded story was about. You know, we pushed through a lot of shit. We pushed through a lot of red candy and a lot of yellow candy. We couldn't find the team for a while, but eventually we found the team. We eventually got to the green Mike and Ike. So that is, you know, hopefully what we are going to, you know, we've already succeeded in my mind. We found the green Mike and Ike. Now we just got to eat it, right? This battle is we're going to eat the green Mike and Ike. So, yeah. Anyway, that's the story. Let's get into the team builder. I'm sorry for wasting all of your time. Okay. I'm using my mouse when my mouse is disconnected. Welcome to the D.Rey matchup. There we go. Okay, cool. D.Rey matchup. Very, very, very scary team. In my opinion, the best team in the league. Draft in the league, I should say. D.Rey's 2-1. He is doing pretty well. He did take a week 1 loss, but has been on a 2-game winning streak since. And I think it is because he's getting in tune with his team, which is a very, very tricky team. I don't consider this a traditional offense draft. I don't consider this any kind of... I don't really see very many intricate cores. I think it's a very tricky team. It relies on a lot of literally a lot of tricks on your opponent. That being the prospect of disguising Zoroark as Dracovish is fucking horrifying, because you switch in your answer and it's a Zoroark and then your answer's dead. Or Gothitelle, which just traps your answer anyway. So those two things stop Dracovish answers on top of already shit like Zapdos, which probably beats it naturally anyway. You know, so I got 4 things on my team that like naturally switch into Vicious Rend, and all of them struggle with some form of another of Gothitelle or Zoroark disguise, right? So I got Delmise, Primarina, that's the first Vicious Rend resist, right? Gothitelle can trap that and run like Specs Energy Ball against me and like break that down super easily. Even if I run Flip Turn, it can still be an issue. Plus, if it's a Zoroark, it can go for Sludge Bomb or something like that, which is also scary. And Primarine is also the frailest defensively to possibly even switch into Dracovish anyways. The second one is Delmies. If it ends up being a Zoroark, I guess I'm just fucked, right? Like I just switch it in on the Dracovish and I see a Dark Pulse and it's really a fucking Zoroark. Oh shit, I guess I just lose. Same deal with like Spec Shadow Ball from Gothitelle, or any Shadow Ball. Although that being said, since I'm Ghost, I can't be trapped by Goth, but it's more about the Zoroark thing. And then the third one is Druddigon. Druddigon is like okay as a possible answer. You know, I can phase out Gothitelle if it tries to set up on me, but Psychic still hurts me, and like I don't want to like be trapped, because that's, you know, less damage I can have on, that's less health I can have to take Vicious Runs and, you know, deal back damage hopefully. And Zoroark too with Druddigon, you know, if it's a Zoroark disguised as a Dracovish going for Dark Pulse against me, it does a shit ton to Druddigon, especially because I would hypothetically need to build it physically defensive. And the last one's Palpitoad. Palpitoad very obviously struggles here for a reason. It's a great Dracovish answer normally, but the fact that I have to run either Shed Shell and like get 2 KO'd by everything else Dracovish could run because I'm not Eviolite, or be Eviolite and get trapped by Gothitelle. The fact I have to be one of those two just totally screws it here. And then, you know, it doesn't like taking Dark Pulses from Zoroark anyway either. So that in itself is already extremely tricky. Now pair that with the fact that my Chandelure switch-ins suck ass, and the fact that Klefki is kind of an issue defensively for me to handle. There's a lot of like coverage that my team wants to have on it in order to hit Klefki. And on the fact that there's a Zapdos and a Seismitoad defensive core, which is pretty scary. And these bottom 3 mons, which I barely even looked at, like if those come and sweep me, then just like fuck me. It's a very bizarre matchup. It's a very complicated matchup. So the only thing that I have going for me is Mamoswine. I think Mamoswine is easily my ticket to win here because offensively it threatens D.Rey ridiculously. His resists to ground are Zapdos gets bopped by an Icicle Crash, and Thwackey gets hit by an Ice Move, right? And I believe that's it. Other things like Dracovish and Seismitoad catch Freeze Drives, and he should be well aware of this, right? Everything else, I mean, that's it, right? Like that, everything else takes hits from Earthquake, but the issue is getting it in and getting it sufficiently able to break while at the same time not dying to like random shit. So that's what I've attempted to do here, or that's what we as a front office have attempted to do here. I just want to really quickly give a last shout out to the front office. So Vepsis, Chris, and Simon for helping me in call. Thank you so much to them. Matt for helping me in the chat a lot and arguing to me about what's good and what's not. Sean and Vinny for also doing the same in the chat and being really amazing. And then Howler, even though I know he's not here and is, you know, kind of taking a break from Mons for personal reasons, you know, great team sport still. Love that man. So big shout out to the entire front office. As you'll notice, I've named every Mon that I'm bringing this week after one of the 6 people conveniently who helped me for this game because they deserve it. So that's what I've done. Okay, so let's take a look at the team. We are starting off with a utility Tornadus. It is literally max speed, max HP, and then a little bit in spit down. It's going to be a supportive Tornadus this week. I believe for the first time it's going to be supportive. We have Defog, Toxic, U-Turn, Knockoff. I'm going to have to rearrange these moves before I go insane. But generally speaking, the reason I'm running this is because I just sort of want the Regenerator defense to come to my favor here. Offensive never really looks good because of Zapdos, which like has to come for this thing. So being able to sort of Toxic and knock off on it is going to be really important, especially since I have the protective pads. I don't have to worry too much about getting static parried. So being knockoff, Toxic, Defog, U-Turn is pretty effective, so I can knock off items. If I end up outspeeding the Dracovish, or if it's just banned, I can knock off that thing's choice item. I can knock off Zapdos's boots. I can knock off Goth's item. I can knock off Klefki's Shed Shell, potentially, which you'll see is important a little bit later. As well as random miscellaneous things like a Rindo Berry on Seismitoad, or any choice item on Zoroark that could help him, or choice scarf on Chandelure. If I notice that, then 2 knockoffs could be important. Toxic, obviously, for the Zapdos, Defog to clear spikes and rocks away, as well as U-turn for momentum. So that is the support Tornadus. It was actually, I believe, the last mon we put on this team, but I'm showing it first because it's, our number 1 pick. So the next mon is Mamoswine. Debated a lot between this set. I don't want to say everything we were thinking of because I could play D.Rey in playoffs, but there's a lot of random things I can do with Mamoswine, which could be big. I decided to go very basic, though. I didn't want to reveal too much niche stuff, and I just went with Assault Vest and 3 attacks. We have Icicle Crash, Freeze Dry, Ice Shard as Ice Stab, and then Earthquake. Earthquake hits mostly everything with the exception of Zapdos and Thwackey. Like I said, both of those drop to Icicle Crash. The stuff like Dracovish and Seismitoad drop to Freeze Dry, and then Ice Shard is priority. It really doesn't get more clear than that. The only thing that beats this is something like a Magnet Rise Klefki, which I actually have something for, as you'll see later. So that is going to be important. We are running the Assault Vest, so we can take things like Hurricanes from Zapdos, or even like Scalds from Seismitoad, or a hit from Chandelure, or something like that. But my switch-ins to Zapdos in general aren't the greatest, so having Assault Vest as a option to have some defensive backbone, since I believe I'm just 0-0-0 in defensive stats, since I sort of put the rest of my leftover stats after speed creeping into special attack for freeze dry damage. Having that extra level of bulk via the Assault Vest is going to be incredibly useful. The next mon is Jirachi holding the leftovers. For the first time, we are bringing Jirachi defensively with Wish Protect, Zen Headbutt, U-turn. The reason we are doing this is because we want a specially defensive mon here. I think it's important to switch into things like Zapdos or Gothitelle if I'm able to pivot out against it. Also, the momentum in itself is pretty nice. It's also a great switch into things like Roserade. Zoroark even doesn't do a ton of damage to me unless it's some sort of boosting item like Black Glasses or a setup move or Life Orb or Specs, like unless it's one of those things or a setup move. I believe that just a regular like Dark Pulses are doing a ton of me. Like that's how Spadef I am. On top of that, it can even take a hit or two from Chandelure, but being able to have like a Protect Mon and a Wish Mon to heal up random stuff like Torn and some of the defensive Mons that don't get recovery that you'll see later on below is hopefully going to be pretty effective. This is my first time bringing Wish Pass as a strategy in Draft League. Actually, I can say this because you'll have seen it before this game. I'm actually doing the same with Wigglytuff, but I have a feeling I'm not going to be Wish Passing in that game. You'll have known if you watched it, but this right now, since I'm playing this before my UPBA game, is going to be the first time I'm bringing sort of a Wish into defensive Mon strategy in a Wi-Fi game. So being able to sort of mentally check on which of my Mons is going to be in need of Wish healing and Wish support is going to be sort of a new challenge for me, but something that I think is very important in this game. But having lefties protect is also just very nice for healing in Jirachi itself. Zen Headbutt was the attacking move of choice to things like Roserade, and which is generally the hardest egg move. The only big resist is Zoroark and Klefki. Klefki I'm going to try and trap, and Zoroark gets U-turned on. So this is a hilarious set. Shout out to Simi Chris for pushing me to run this. It is Assault Vest. Obviously, Elias was like, you're pretty weak to Chandelure, so it is a extremely specially defensive. I believe we're max HP, and then it's something like 132 plus Spadef. We actually have 100 EVs in attack, and here's why. Something I've noticed in the way I've been playing Primarina, which is something I'm going to have to diversify in future weeks, but it's still relatively important in this game, is that I've been clicking flip turn virtually always with this thing, so might as well power those things up. On top of that, having triple axle is actually extremely nice tech for Roserade here, because it actually takes like 50 from Ice Beam, whereas triple axle on the right against the right set is doing something like 84 to 90, or even maybe even more if I depending on what he brings. So if he brings Fizdef, then I guess good on him, but I don't see Fizdef here, right? I see something probably a little bit more offensive, but I feel like it might be tempting to swap in Roserade against Primarina if he ends up bringing Roserade. So Triple Axle is pretty nice tech. Energy Ball is for the Seismitoad, and then Moonblast hits everything else. And, I have enough special attack to KO Dracovish. So a very, very fun Primarina set with Triple Axle here would be pretty funny to see if it goes off. Okay, next mon is Drudigan, coming for the second time this season. It is basically literally max HP, max defense. This is the dedicated dracovish answer with rough skin, rocky helmet. We have Dragon Tail, Sucker Punch, Endure, and Stealth Rocks, a Endure, rocky helmet, rough skin set. This was originally going to be Glare, but I didn't think I was going to be glaring anything very much anyway. So ended up going with Dragon Tail and Endure. This is also my rocker. I don't expect to get up rocks, but if I'm able to get up rocks, then I will. Sucker Punch is actually really important. It's a nice way in order to like deal a little bit of damage to like something like Chandelure if it tries to revenge me, sure, but it's actually kind of nice in the sense that if I get a prediction wrong, hypothetically, say I'm in a situation where I need to say, okay, I need to make a call here whether this is Dracovish or Zoroark, and I say, okay, this is Dracovish, right, and I go into my Drudigan and it ends up being Zoroark. I'm wrong in this circumstance. If he thinks he can just kill me with Dark Pulse, I can Sucker Punch it and put it at, it really doesn't matter how much you could do 2% for all I care. It would break the disguise, and just having the priority that breaks that disguise is pretty important to me, as well as Sucker Punch being able to pick off even Dracovish if, Endure, Rough Skin, Rocky Helmet brings it down low enough. So I really like the Sucker Punch tech here. This one's named after Matt because this was his set that he suggested, except for the Glare over the Endure. That was my addition. So very, very nice set. I believe this is the last mon. This is the Magneton, named conveniently after Simon, and I'll explain why in a little bit. I am running choice specs in order to trap the Klefki and kill it with Steel Beam. That's literally it. If Klefki comes, I want to trap it and kill it with Steel Beam, because as you can tell by my previous mons, Klefki demanded so much coverage that like it just like forced my other mons to like be not as good if I was to like give them Klefki coverage. So I said, okay, I'm just gonna fucking bring Magneton and trap it and hope this works. So we were running Steel Beam, Volt Switch, Thunderbolt, fucking Hyper Beam. So I believe Magneton's only job is come in on Klefki and kill it in one hit with Steel Beam. It doesn't matter if you're spit off. It doesn't matter what you are. I'm specs mod as Steel Beam. I'll fuck you up with Steel Beam and just kill your Klefki. Magnetize Klefki for Mammo, gone. You know, possible spike setter, gone. Possible T-Wave spreader, gone. You know, screen setter, if it's a setup mon, whatever it is, right? Just I'll nuke it and get it out of the way, because I was having so much trouble, and being able to free up the move slots, you know, on something like Drudigan that doesn't have to run Fire Punch, or, you know, Primarina that can afford Energy Ball instead of a water move, or, you know, this can't do anything to Klefki, this can't do anything to a Magnetized Klefki. Like, literally my entire team does nothing to Klefki. Wow, this is hilarious. Okay, my entire team does absolutely nothing to Klefki. So, it is the job of Magneton to trap it and kill it. If he is Shed Shell, then I gotta knock it off with Torn. You know, we'll see, I guess. My opponents and their steel types recently have not been bringing Shed Shell. I have not encountered a Shed Shell this entire season. I think it's because I've only brought it one game so far. So we'll see. But this is kind of the risk here is, you know, if Klefki's Shed Shell, I'm going to have a little bit of a harder time, but if it's not, it's going to make my life a lot easier. And if Klefki doesn't come, then that's even better for me. It's going to give me a little bit more, power on this team, just having a specs Magneton in general. So Klefki not coming isn't the end of the world. In fact, if Zapdos isn't Heat Wave, I can even come in on it with Magneton. But I was originally a Violet, decided to go with specs to just get that damage output. Volt Switch, Thunderbolt hits everything barring the Seismitoad. Obviously, Seismitoad takes like 70 from Steel Beam, which is hilarious. And then Hyper Beam, it also takes something like 90 from, which is literally the only reason I have Hyper Beam. I could have gone Flash Cannon, but I ended up deciding that I felt Hyper Beam was actually a little bit more valuable, because if I find myself in a situation where I just need to kill the Seismitoad, might as well go for it, because I don't switch into it immaculately. But that's the team. Sorry this was such a long intro, but I figured it would be a little interesting to go through the day of my life and the process of how this team was built. It is a little bulkier than what I've done in UPBA's past. You know, I do have 4 pivoters still, so it's not like super different from what I brought. You know, very pivot heavy team, but very defensive. You know, I don't have a lot of offensive pressure on this team, with the exception of Mamoswine, And really, that's it. Maybe Jirachi, or maybe Mammoth, or fucking Magneton. There we go, Magneton. And the reason I named it after Simon, of course, was because he was like ecstatic about me bringing Steel Beam. Especially because I've been shit talking Steel Beam as like the worst move ever this entire generation. Which, by the way, it is, because not only does, if you miss, you just like take 50%, and oh my god, I'm jinxing myself by saying that. But in addition, its name is horrible. It's like literally the most underwhelming name for a move that like Mind Blown is the same thing, but it's so much cooler of a move name. And the funniest part about it is there was a fucking competition like when the game came out at first to like decide what to name this move. Like some random kid was like fucking Steel Beam and they won. Like fuck you. Anyway, whatever. This is beyond the point and totally off topic, but fuck Steel Beam. But maybe no fuck Steel Beam. We'll see. If it traps Klefki, then maybe I'll have second thoughts. But that's it. Shortest time I've ever spent on a build in a very, very long time. A build that I care about in a very, very long time. But again, massive thank you to my front office for helping me put it together. And let's get into the game. Oh my fucking god, it's so late. I've never played a Draft League game this late. It's 1 a.m. Apologies for the lack of just the tank top, and it's nighttime. I gotta get a little comfortable and shit. Like I said, built this team today, front office. If this commentary is shit, I'm sorry. It is 1 a.m. I would like to remind you. I don't know. We'll see. Just searching for D.Rey here. All love to him. Excited to play him for the first time. There we go. Plan is... Alright. I got a new thing so I can look forward rather than this way. My calc is this way now. Let's go. I'm not even nervous because I'm so tight. I'm so tired and it's so late. What isn't here? There's no Zoroark. Oh, that's a fucking relief. Jesus, I'm so bad with Zoroark. Is there anything else is like super important that I'm missing? I feel like I'm going crazy. There's a Goth. There's no Seismitoad. Oh, that's nice too. I have a Flip Turn and a Volt Switch Mon. I think I lead Jirachi and I just like slow pivot. I'm gonna kind of be playing this kind of brainless because okay, hold on. Let me get into the vibe. Let me just like try and this is the right move, right? I mean, any lead, this is okay. If it's Vish or Shandy, I can protect a Scout and see. Because I think those are the two possible choice mons. I guess Roserade could also be Scarf, but I think it's less likely with the Jirachi there. I think either Vish will be banned and Chandelure will be Scarf, or Chandelure will be Specs and Vish will be Scarf. We do see the keys, which is like crazy. Really cutting it close there. See what he leads. Good luck, have fun to him. There's Tesla. The Zapdos, actually. Which is pretty interesting. I could get Static Parad with this, you know, probably wouldn't be ideal. Could throw off a Wish right away. Elias did tell me that was important to do. I think I'll do that. Elias is Vepsis, if anyone doesn't know. Because if he Heat Waves, then I know. If he U-turns or something, then, you know, I get health back on whatever the switch in is. Yeah, see, there's the U-turn. And I think U-turn can... Let me check the notes. U-turn, electric move, roost. It's gotta be heat waver. Hurricane in the last slot. Might have preferred U-turn there, come to think of it. Always lit. That's fine. I can throw off a wish here and then go into Prima. I'm not gonna bother calculating the U-turn damage. I mean, it's whatever. Let's go into the AV Prem. Curious what he goes for. Shadow Ball. That looks like not specs. I'm just gonna flip turn here. Yeah, it's not specs. That's not even modest. If I read that right. I mean, it went by so quick. I should have counted the numbers, but it's showing me that specs should have been doing like a third, and that's not a third. So it's either sub Calm Mind or Scarf, I think, are the two options, which would mean he's double Scarf. I don't know. Who's El Guapo? Oh, what up? Alright, so next time this comes in, I should be able to triple axle, which is kind of neat. Do I want to go Torn here? For sure, right? Yeah. I think I want to go Torn, and I think I want to either Knock or Toxic. I mean, he doesn't want to stay in here, right? He switches out. Goes into Tesla, that's fine. Getting rid of this Boots is good. I should have Toxic'd this turn, but that's fine. What does that tell me? 25% on the dot. Let me just U-turn here. Looks like max HP, but not Fizz Death. He's either U-turning or Thunderbolting here. Can't lose Dread this early. I think I had to go into Mammo. U-turns. I would have liked to go into Dread and get that damage off. That's damage I cannot risk on Mammo, come to think of it, so... Maybe a bad move on my part. We've only seen U-turn, right? U-turn max HP. Oh, let me count the Rose Raid damage. It did 15, I'm pretty sure. Looks to be offensive. You know, I mean, he could try and get Vish in here. He could also try and get Keys in here. Esperanza. Oh, that's bad. I forgot about that. Okay, I just have to spam Earthquake. If he's Cosmic Power, I might just lose. That's not good. Oh, 2 codes. Thank fucking God. Don't Cosmic Power. He Psychics. Okay. His leftovers. Do I think he sacks this? Or do I think he goes Zapdos? I feel like he goes Zapdos. I'm gonna crash. Maybe this is a choke, but I feel like he preserved this. Fuck. Alright, flinch maybe? No, I just Psychics again. Good play. This going down really early is like really bad because it's my main form of offense. It basically means I have nothing to switch in anymore. I'm just gonna Earthquake here. His move is 100% to attempt to, like, is he really gonna swap here? Don't swap here. You have no reason to preserve this. He swaps into fucking Zapdos. I'm gonna be so annoyed. Okay, thank you. Mamo kills this, which is a headache cleared. Honestly, I played that horribly. Like, if that was Cosmic Power, I just lost. But, I mean, it's 1 a.m. I didn't just lose. I mean, I might have just lost. Alright, there's fucking Vish. Let's go into the Dread. If he doubles, he doubles. So, let's go into the Dread here. He can't lock into, like, Outrage. And boots are gone off Zapdos now, so getting rocks up seems pretty nice. You know, he could think I go into Dread, he could think I go into something else. Nothing should 2-ko me, even Ice Fang. If he has it, Outrage would, but then I go Prima and kill this thing. No, he just runs. That's fine. Yep. So I got my Rough Skin. Got my helmet. And part of me just wants to Dragon Tail, to be honest. Like, rocks are nice, but... Oh no, he's going into the thing for sure. Do I double? If I double into Mag here, am I the greatest player of all time? It's so unnecessary, though. I'm just gonna Rocks. Oh, I would have been the greatest player of all time. Is that Keys? That is Keys. Oh, I would have been the greatest player of all time! Oh, I'm pissed. He's not Shed Shell. He's Air Balloon. Oh, that's huge. Okay. Sadly, these rocks are probably gonna be a complete waste, but I'm gonna go into my mag and just fucking go into my mag. Spikes. So this thing's trapped unless he has like skill swap. Do I want to just not risk it, Steel Beam in case he's like skill swap or something, plus like Thumbnail? Or do I want a T-Bolt? I'm just gonna fucking Steel Beam. What am I doing? Of course I'm just gonna fucking Steel Beam. Spikes here. Land that shit. This thing drops. I need to clear hazards, like, now. Okay, so Mag kills Keys. Kills Keys. Mamo killed Goth, right? Yeah. What was my way to fucking beat Goth? God, I don't even remember. God, that was so loose by me in the middle of the game. Like, Oh, I had Dragon Tail. That was my way. I guess I had to do something like that. God, that's so unreliable, though. Awkward. Fucking Spec Steel Beam. Alright, shout out to Simon. Alright, always lit. That's fine. Do I just let this go? Part of me just wants to let this go. I think I will. I think I'm just gonna fucking Steel Beam again. Like, I don't think I have a need for this. Maybe I could have done something. Shandy kills Mag. But I, probably don't think it's worth it. Okay, so we can either go into Torn and Defog, which is an option. Well, yeah, we can go into Torn and Defog and then just go Primarina immediately. And this tells us if this is going to be Scarf or not, so. let's defog here, because I don't want spikes up. Stacking was definitely the play. Like, I wasn't gonna do anything with mag at that point. If I can, like, fucking bait in. Okay, so he's gonna take the rock chip here, which is gonna force him to U-turn this time. Or roost this time, rather. I'm wildly tempted to go for Toxic here. I think I need to, given how weak Mamo is. And the reason for that is, like, if he outspeeds me, it's kind of like a huge problem. See roost? Please roost. There we go. I felt that was necessary because since Mamo's so low and I fucked up so bad with Goth, I needed to do that. I needed to. So he's seen my full moveset now. Now I can U-turn. Do we know much about his shit yet? I don't know. I think the play is Rachi on this. Regardless. Crit. Since I'm pads, I can't be staticked. And I think I go Rachi here. Just fucking... It actually gives me an opportunity to wish up too, which is if he doesn't U-turn, that is. Hurricanes and misses. So I can throw off a wish here. I mean, I'm literally max spit F. It wouldn't have done much. She would have had to bank on a confusion or something. Let's throw up a wish. This is definitely the first time I'm using this team a little bit more defensively than I'm used to. Part of me's going to Torn here. Because it covers the double into Zap if he does that. Because Primarina is really fucking obvious here. But I can just go Rachi if he goes into that anyway. So I don't have to... I have no reason to play risky. Yeah, he makes the double, but it won't matter. El Guapo. Do you know how badly I want to fucking... triple axle here, but it would be dumb. Just go back in Arachi. He could be Sleep Powder, but I mean, what am I doing? I don't really have much of a choice right now. I mean, no matter what he goes for here, I can just fucking... I think I can Zen really no matter what. He does Shadow Ball me, but I mean, does he get the drop? Nope. I think I throw off a wish here. And it's basically just like same cycle, rinse and repeat. I should wall this, right? Am I crazy? Maybe this was dumb. Just gonna protect here. Yep. Hopefully this isn't too annoying for him. This is what happens when you emergency build last minute with fucking Vepsis. You run these kind of garbage Jirachi sets. It's okay. We play him next week. It'll be pretty funny. I So I'm just gonna Zen. Like, he's probably fishing for a drop at this point, which... Ah, no! That means if I land, then I won't get to show triple axle. That was a super low roll, and he got the drop there, so I kind of need this to land here, please. Thank you. Dead. Honest to God, this thing might just like win on its own. The Strachey. Strachey's pretty damn nasty. Okay, I can protect here to see what he locks into. Since there's no hazards up on either side, I can just win this game by making the correct swap. So I protect here, see what he locks into. He goes for Fisher's Rend, so my play is Dread again. If he goes into anything else, I just go into the necessary swap in. So let's go Dread again. Does Rend. Okay. Rough Skin. Rocky Helmet. If I sucker here, am I, you know, putting him in range? I don't know. I mean, I might as well, right? Let's do it. Could be in range. Endure probably was better there, actually. Actually, there was no reason not to do Endure. Please die to the, like, stuff. Are you dead? Yes! I was cutting it close. That sucker. Whew! Okay. I think I just go into U and U-turn. No more 5-0s. Big sad, but D.Rey's team is terrifying, so I'm not phased by it. Honestly, I should have lost this game based on how badly I played Mamo. Okay, there's Shandy. Do I want to knock here, actually? I don't really lose much. Yeah, why not? Fucking steel beam, people. Steel beam. You fucking fire blast. Do I live this? Ooh, he gets a burn on me. How spicy. Okay. Still does a lot. For what it's worth. I can U-turn. Even if he energy balls, it doesn't really matter. Part of me actually wonders if I shouldn't have knocked that off, because now... I don't think it makes a difference. What's my last mon? Set of mons. What are my last set of mons? I have no idea. Premier is still at full though, so I can always just flip turn and do the thing. I have no clue what Zapdos is at, to be honest. I didn't write it down. Yeah, okay. Even if he energy balls here, I think I'm okay. Fire Blast was smart. Oh, he still has the thing. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I'll be fine. Because it'll depend what this thing's at. Okay, how much does energy ball do? I imagine he goes for it. Oh, no. Okay, then I can flip turn here and basically win, I'm pretty sure. Drop. Nope. I really want to fucking triple axle badly, but I could lose the game if I do that, so I won't. I just energy balls. See, if I triple axle there, that'd be bad. Okay, so I can flip turn. And then in the face of the thing, I think I go Rachi. Right? That's the only thing I really have that can beat it. I guess. Because I did Toxic it with that play. God, I made a play. That's cool. Yeah, and the more leftovers is always nice too. So yeah, I think at this point I spam Zen. And that's that. Spam Zen. Those Hurricane misses. What a terrible move. But he had to do that, you know, so. I kind of just hope he doesn't roost here. Oh my god. D.Rey, no! Those damn Hurricanes. Never run it again. Alright, good game to D.Rey. In hindsight, how the fuck did I win that? I like fucking... God, I can't even imagine. Okay, yeah, sorry, good game to him. I'm gonna go to sleep now. It was a fun one for what it was worth. I'm sad I got to show off Steel Beam actually, so we're good. Cool, good game. And I will see you all later. Week 5, we take on Vepsis. So heading into that game 4-0 plus 19. Fuck yeah. So that's cool. All right, see y'all then.